Welcome everyone to a very special episode of CowTown Cats Lacrosse podcast. I'm Nicholas, joined by Andy.
Hello, hello.
And we are here live at Dickey's Arena today to talk about the upcoming Panther City Lacrosse season. You ready?
Oh, I'm ready.
All right, let's go. And finally, the final 6 games of this season.
All right, and then on March 15th, we play the Halifax Thunderbirds. So we get to see Captain Matt, Hoffick's big brother Graham. I don't remember if we played them in the inaugural season. We definitely didn't play them last year. So this will be kind of, this and the next game kind of shows the advantage of not having that division layout and more of that round robin league style where you play every team at least once. It's really hard to predict how this one's going to go though.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's a team we don't have a whole lot of experience with, but I'm excited to see this interaction. I'm excited to see these teams that we don't have a ton of interaction with and be able to face them, you know, and kind of gauge where we are as the season goes on.
Mm-hmm. And similar to us, Halifax has, at least when they were in the Eastern Division, they couldn't quite get over that hump. They couldn't quite get past Buffalo.
Right. Always in the thick of things during the year, but just couldn't get over. Of course, we come back home against the defending champs, the Buffalo Bandits. Oh my gosh. I think this is kind of the measuring stick for the year.
Mm-hmm.
Especially at that point, just like, this is the defending champs we're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Where are we? Are we close to them? Do we have a hard time with them? Do we get blown out? Being at home, I think that gives us a little bit of an advantage.
Mm-hmm.
But we're talking about the champs here. And we're talking about a team that, you know, won the title.
As a fan of the sport in general, I mean, obviously, they've got multiple-time MVP winner Dane Smith.
Uh-huh.
They've got a legendary goalie in Matt Vince. So I'm just looking forward to, you know, thank you NLL and thank you schedule planners for giving us a home game against the Buffalo Bandits.
Yeah. I can't wait for that one. April 5th, we actually have an away game against San Diego Seals, a team, again, like I said before, we struggle against, and I don't think we've ever won in San Diego before.
No, we played a nice competitive game against them last season where we didn't really have our full squad just because of guys being hurt, schedule conflicts, and then Jake Fox only really had a cup of coffee with us, played big minutes against them.
Uh-huh.
So yeah, there's no telling how we're going to do. Hopefully better than last year.
Yeah. But that'll be a good road test for us. So.
Mm-hmm. Yep, absolutely. So hopefully we take care of business that one. That is the first game of a back-to-back in Portsmouth. We are going to be playing the Philadelphia Wings back in Fort Worth on April 7th. So we talked about them a little bit earlier. We had that great comeback win against them last season.
Right.
They ended up not being a playoff team, so they probably still have a bit of chemistry issues or things to figure out on their end too. So hopefully we can take advantage of that and, depending on where they are in the season, just take care of business.
Well, and a home game for us against the team that I think we can beat.
Yeah.
So, you know, as with any sport, there are certain games that you kind of expect yourself to win. I think this is kind of one of them I expect them to win.
Mm-hmm. Interestingly enough, Philly was back when they were divisions, they were an Eastern team. So it is kind of interesting from a schedule perspective that we're facing Philly twice.
Yeah. Well, and I think they base that maybe on solely because we had such a good game with them last year.
Yeah.
So like, we want more of that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, should be a fun one.
And then after that, we have a game against the Albany Firewolves, a team that we handily beat last year at home. I think, again, this is another one of those games where I don't really expect much to change from last season to this season, but yeah, against the Firewolves, I kind of expect another win.
Mm-hmm. And it's funny because Jake Fox, we traded them to.
Yeah.
We traded Jake to them last year and didn't really help him out.
Didn't really make a bit of difference.
So they've still got some things to figure out with their roster and how they want to shape their identity as a team. Until they do that, I don't see them posing much of a challenge. But hey, anything can happen in the NLL.
Yeah. And that brings us to our final game of the year. I mean, go ahead.
Yeah, we are facing the Calgary Roughnecks, who we played, I want to say, at least 3 times.
We played 3 times.
Yeah, all late season games. One was the playoff game, if I'm not mistaken, and we lost that playoff game 9-12 after being competitive and even leading for a short bit of it. Obviously, they've still got Christian Del Bianco.
Yeah.
They've got a lot of great players on that team. One of the best transition players in the league as well in Courier. So they're definitely another team similar to San Diego that we're trying to get over the hump with. So they'll be a great litmus test in general, but especially being the season finale.
Yeah. Well, and I think, again, it's like interesting to see the schedule makers with this. You know, hey, playoff game against them last year, very competitive. What did they do? Let's throw this game at the very end. Like,
yeah,
let's not only remind you of what happened at the end of last year, but let's just throw it there just so you can be reminded of it more.
And, knock on wood, you would think that we're going to be in contention to make the playoffs this season. So having that game to ideally build some momentum going into whoever our playoff matchup is against should be helpful.
Well, and talking about like playoff matchups, last year it kind of worked against us because I think we went against them and then turned around pretty much and went against them again, and in the playoffs. And so hopefully that doesn't happen this year where, hey, we play them and then we have to play them again a week later, kind of thing. So interesting schedule choice, but yeah, this year is shaping up to be, like you said, with the schedule realignment and everything happening with no divisions. It'll be interesting to see what happens.
Yep. Get a lot of new matchups and get to see some familiar faces. It'll be a nice mix.
Thank you all for listening. Thank you all for watching. Be sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, or X, or whatever you call it.
Yeah, whatever floats your boat.
And be sure to check our videos out on YouTube. I am once again Nicholas.
And I am preseason Andy.
Oh, preseason Andy. Yeah, and we'll see you guys next time.
Cheers, y'all.